Well, hello, YouTubers, RVers, all our friends and family out there watching this in YouTube land, I guess you could say. We're going to do a video today that's going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. You know, most of the time I try to either share something with you that you maybe haven't seen before, something like that, or I try to accomplish a task, say install something or something like that, that I don't have the faintest idea how to do it. I'm just following the instructions perhaps. I'm letting you follow along with me so that if I make a mistake, that doesn't become a mistake that you make, okay? I'm not an expert, especially on today's topic. And if you like the kind of stuff that we do like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with your friends and make fun of it, and comment to tell me where I'm all wrong on this one. We're going to make this one more like a forum where everybody's going to get to express their questions or their disagreements or whatever. Can we do that? I think this could be fun, and I think we might learn something. All right. So let's go right ahead and get into it. Okay, well today we're going to be talking about a subject that it's going to become quite apparent I'm not an expert at, even though possibly I kind of should be, but I'm not. We're going to kind of learn together. This is going to be like a forum. Hopefully you guys can chime in here and give us some clear, concrete information. If you say this is the way something is, please cite your source, okay? Because without citations, it's kind of meaningless because we're going to be talking about laws here, okay? So anyway, here's what it's going to be. A few weeks ago, I guess it was, someone did a message on the site, a kind of message that I like to hear. Well, I finally got my RV, I'm ready to go, and what's the first thing I should do, blah, 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 that kind of thing. I love hearing those kind of questions, and I get excited for these people who are, you know, jumping out into RVing. And this person had one very specific really good question, and she wanted to know what is the best or the correct towing speed for like a 20-foot size RV, like a 17B for example. There's kind of a good answer for that. There's a great answer, there's a long answer, a short answer, lots of things, lots of ways you can approach that question, I guess. I gave her a short answer that I think is, or at least at the time I thought was kind of the perfect answer, but then as I got into it more in effort to make a video, an episode here, I started learning more and more and more about it and realized that I had completely lied to her, to be quite honest. Okay, what I told her was 65 miles an hour. It'd be a perfect speed for towing that little RV for a lot of reasons. And that's a good answer, but it's not really the most concrete answer. The reason why I picked that answer is because I believe that the state of Texas had a speed limit on towing an RV-sized vehicle, like a 20-foot or something like that, and they do. But I thought it was 65 during the day and 60 at night. Well, at one time it was, but it's not anymore. And I don't know if it was in 2023 when they changed a lot of the transportation code, or exactly when it happened. That's what I was told when I bought my RV. It was 65 during the day and 60 at night. Well, that's not it anymore. Apparently, hopefully, it is 70 during the day and 65 at night. But you know what? It's hard to find a clear, concrete, authoritative source on the subject. Yeah, isn't that weird? Okay. Let's back up here just a little bit. If we're going to talk about the correct speed in relation to your state's speed on what you should, pull a trailer at, what speed, man, it's just all over the place for all the 50 states. I mean, some states like, what is it? I got some here. Idaho, the speed that you can tow a trailer depends on the number of axles you have, the weight you have, a whole bunch of factors. Some other states have this much on rural interstates and this much even on the interstates that are in town. They have all these different kinds of requirements. Some of them, the speed you can tow is pretty much just the speed limit, whatever it is. Others, like California, for example, and about a dozen other states, it is a flat 55 miles an hour. That's it. It doesn't matter what kind of road you're on, what size vehicle you have, or anything else, it is 55 miles an hour. There's like a dozen states that are that way, which was kind of a shock to me. And so that's not good, man. That's going to make that, what they talk about, like RV time, really stretched out. You know, it really is in my mind. Okay, so what is the true speed? Well, first off, you got to find out what the true speed that is allowed in your state. Okay, you got to do the research and figure it out for sure what your state requires or allows. All right, that's all there is to it. Bottom line. Let me give you some other examples of that and the problems you get into with that. If you go online, you can find a lot of websites like RV Nerds, Outdoorsy, oh gosh, and a whole bunch of others. And a lot of them will give you a state-by-state number of what the speed limit is. Look at that carefully and check elsewhere. Don't just go by one source like that, because a lot of them get it wrong. I mean, or at least there's another source elsewhere that says a different number. One of them's wrong. I don't know which one it is, but one is wrong, okay? State of Texas is a perfect example. I truly believe that in the state of Texas, it is 70 during the day and 65 at night. That's it. And if anybody asks me, that's what I'm going to tell them. Now you need to understand something. I am a former peace officer, a deputy sheriff, and I know this kind of stuff, or at least used to know. I'm retired, used to know this stuff. And codes and things like that change. And like I said, in 2023, the state of Texas changed a whole lot of the transportation code. And if this was one of them, that's when it happened. I don't know. But now it appears to be 70 and 65. But even though that's where you find mostly, there are sources that say something different. Okay? Who was it? Outdoorsy. They said in Texas, they have a whole list of all these things. In Texas, the speed limits differ or vary depending on rural or urban or something like that. Well, yeah, those are posted just changes that they do in towns anyway. But then they go on to say, this is where they mess up, but some stretches, and the interstate is typically 75 miles per hour. What the interstate is, but what's the towing speed? And then they go on to say, but some stretches of freeway have a speed limit of 80 to 85. In Texas, having one of the places with the highest speed limit in the nation at 85 miles per hour. But they're not saying, and you should be looking at a JPEG right about now, that they say the speed limit's 80 or 85. They're not saying that that's the speed of pulling a trailer is 80 or 85. They say in Texas there's a section of roadway that is 85. It's messed up. You can't go by what they said on that, as you can see by the graphic that I have up. Several sites quote the Texas Transportation Code, section 545.352. That's just gobbledygook to you. I know it is. And you can go there and they quote it on their page. Okay. And some of these are law sites. Some of them are trailer, RV, sellers or something like that. And they quote that section. And yet, if you go to that section, which is easy enough to do, you find that section has nothing to do with trailer speed limits. It's about the speed limits on unmarked roads, like on the beach or on some farm market roads that aren't marked, things like that. What the prima facie is what they call it, speed limit is. And it's not about RVs or trailers in general at all. But several places actually cite that old section as their reference. It doesn't exist anymore, at least not in that form. So I don't know what to tell you, other than check with your state or the states you're going to be going through. We have a relative out on the East Coast, out on the eastern edge of Georgia. We cross through several states going from DFW to there, right? every single state has their own different speed limit. Louisiana is one of those that has a 55 is the speed limit during the day and 50 at night, period. Okay, and so I immediately cross into Louisiana here, and I go from being able to drive my RV at 70 miles an hour to instantly the speed limit is 55 miles an hour for that whole 200 miles or whatever it is across Louisiana. I know, it's a mess. It really, really is. So, what's the perfect speed with regard to speed limits in your state or in the states you're going to be in? You're going to have to do some work to find that out. You really, really are. Then there's another subject with regard to what makes something a perfect speed, and that is the speed rating on your tires. Every tire has a rating of how fast that tire should go or limited to go before it starts getting too hot. It overheats, and heat is not your tire's friend. Just heat alone can cause a tire to kind of come apart and fail. We've had that happen, okay? And so you need to keep in mind that. Now, there is a way you can tell what the rating is on your tire, and it's pretty simple. Somewhere on your tire is a whole bunch of numbers and stuff. It's like this or that, or 16R and things like that. At the very end of that set of numbers, there's a letter. And that letter of the alphabet, usually in uppercase, says something like GHIJKLM or something like that. And each one of those letters represents a particular speed that your tire is rated at. Okay. A good rule of thumb is your tire should be an M. Okay. I'll say that right now because M means that tire is rated for 81 miles per hour. To me, that's a good speed. That's got a good margin of safety when you're going 65 or 70 miles an hour. That should work. An M would be the way to go. Although some tires, especially trailer tires, regular car tires will pretty much always have that letter. Some trailer tires won't have it. Some manufacturers and some trailer dealers and things like that will just tell you, well, all our tires are rated for 65 or something like that, or 68 or something. They're rated as an L, okay, I think, which is like 68 or something. And that's okay. That's pretty good, but 81 would be better, wouldn't it? So they'll tell you that, but most of the tires will have, for trailer tires, somewhere on that tire it will actually say speed rating 81 miles per hour in just English instead of making you try to figure out a code. It will say that. Now, there's some pictures on your screen right now showing that. 81 miles an hour. Good enough, all right? And that's M. N would be a little bit better, but that's kind of harder to find. But M is pretty easy to find, and that's a good speed. That's rated at 81 miles an hour. That doesn't mean you should be clipping along at 81 miles an hour. And that's going to put some heat and more wear and tear on your car. But you stay below that, say at 70, you should be in good shape. All right? So, two things. The speed limit in the state you're in and the speed rating on your tire. Those two things should be a factor. Now, some people are going to come on here and start talking about, well, I wouldn't go more than this speed with a single axle. Or I would make sure you do this, or make sure you do that. And you got to consider this and the other thing. All that kind of stuff. And I want to hear that. I want this particular episode to be a forum where people with experience, a lot more than we have, chime in and say what they think is best and why they think it's best. When I first bought my RV, I told a friend of ours who's been in the RV world his whole life and all kinds of different sizes and things. And I told him, he said, oh great, you're going to love it. But let me tell you something, do yourself a favor and go out and buy a new set of tires all the way around for your RV and get a better quality tire than what you got. When you come with your RV, especially these lower price economy RVs, those tires are made in China, and they might be rated at 81 or 68 or something like that, but they're barely rated at that. Get you something a little bit better and you'll be better off because of it. We had ours for about 2 years before one of our tires just failed. It didn't hit something, we didn't have a blowout, it just decided to kind of start coming apart. Luckily, it did that as we were pulling into a state park, and the people behind us noticed, and they honked, and they got out and said, "Your tire, there's a problem with your tire." Oh my gosh, so we just kind of limped to our campsite, and were able to fix our tire there, take it off, take it to a place, get it all done. It worked out great. We really dodged the bullet. It was really good. But yep, that tire came apart. So I put 2 really good tires on the ground, and then I used one of the original equipment tires as my spare. And we feel a lot more confident now that we've done that. So that's an idea too, that a lot of people are going to say, yeah, the tires that come with these, especially the economy and the cheaper RVs, are not that good, and you should get a new one. Well, that's a thought, but then how does that help me determine what speed is the best speed? Well, remember, speed limit in the state you're in, and then your rating of speed limit on your or your speed rating on your tire. Those are your 2 factors. Now with that, after that, I would say look to people that have been doing this for years, people who know a lot about it. Go to websites like ours where people are happy to share this kind of information. And please, please, please share that information here. Let's talk about it. It's the middle of winter. We got nothing better to do. Let's talk to each other about how we can all be safer and better, and RVers that have more fun together. All right? I hope I see you guys safe and secure and going down the road and having fun this year that we got coming up. It's right at the end of 2024. I can't wait to get out there in March, and I hope I see you there. Let's have some fun, and let's talk about it right here, right now. See you later.